subpoenas to the clerk. I asked for the records. I asked for the records from the sheriff and all that. District Attorney Joe F. Grubbs, he already recused his office, but another attorney by the name of Lee Ivanshine came in and denied my subpoenas. Magistrate Judge Ramirez looked at that and agreed to it and said, "Oh, if I need them, then I would let you get the records." But I put in there that he has no right to dismiss any of those documents because District Attorney Joe F. Grubbs recused his whole office. So they had a counsel that came in from Dallas, Ron Chapman, who is the attorney in our case. They weren't supposed to touch nothing concerning my case or my daughter's case. So then after that, my case started. So they dismissed, God being them, they dismissed my case. But my case is on appeal at the Northern District. And it's been there for a while because trial and error, I learned a lot when we filed Alicia's first. And I looked up a lot of things. And I saw certain case law. And the most important thing is that when we both filed our case, it says, and we stated to the federal judges that it's the canon law number 3, that a judge cannot hear his own case. But all of these judges, federal judges, and we put that in bold, that he was the witness, the executioner, all of it, the judge, he was everything in this. So that right there took away our Constitution. He didn't even give us a fair trial. And he lied during the whole thing. And like I said, when I filed, I said everything that he said in the contempt, if you look at it and if you're knowledgeable, you'll see everything he said. The timing don't even go. Everything he said we did, the timing had to match, but it didn't. So all these judges were coming up for everybody. They were washing each other back. And then when I filed a recusal on these judges, they ignored it. But the law says if you're asked to be recused, it's your duty, even if you don't think, you're supposed to step down. Even if you don't think you've done anything wrong, you are supposed to step down and allow that person due process, which from day one, we never got due process. You see, Bill, not only I'm a mother first, but I'm an activist for right and wrong. I fight for justice. And like the Waxahachie Daily Light, Joanne Livingston, she knows me very well. She called me her shero. Because when something goes down, like it was a judge in Ellis County who was posting people bond, making them high. And, she did something to my daughter, gave my daughter a ticket. My daughter got a ticket, and she had to go before her. She wouldn't allow my daughter to come when she could to answer to the ticket. So I protested against the judge. Every day I got off from work, I stood out in front of the courthouse with a picket sign, even when it rained, with my umbrella. That judge resigned. And She resigned, and they come to find out she was embezzling money. She was doing everything. So, because once you get caught, they gonna sing. Because they don't want to get in trouble. They gonna tell it all. See, once you get caught, somebody gonna say, okay, my time gotta stop. So I better cover my own self. So since this has been exposed, then let me see. Let me see if I can get a little flea bar. Because somebody had exposed her. So that happened. So, like I said, Joanne Livingston was the Waxahachie Daily Light reporter. She was the editor. When this happened to me, when it happened to my brother, I called her, because I've been knowing her for about 6-7 years. And I said, Joanne, my brother, they did this to my brother. What can I do? She said, well, Linda, won't you go to the court and see what you could do to help, and see what you could do. Talk to the judge. See how can you talk to the judge. I'm like, well, okay. So my mother and I and my daughter, we went to the court, because I was on the phone with Joanne. I got proof of that and everything. And so we went in, and then there was a probation officer to the right, and then the bailiff was over there. And the bailiff went over to talk to the district attorney. And then I went over there and asked the probation officer, how could I talk to the judge? And she said, well, you need to motion the bailiff. I'm like, okay. So the bailiff came to me, and I said, can I talk to the judge? I never gave him my name or anything. So I sat down, because I didn't have a court date. I didn't have a hearing. I just was in there to support my brother. So then after he started taking care of other people, then the judge got up off his bench, went to his chambers with about 3 plainclothes officers and the district attorneys. They went into his chambers. Then he came back, and he sat on the bench. And he called, I think, about 1 or 2 more people. And my mom and my mom's 73, we were sitting, and my daughter, we were sitting there. My daughter was 19, and we sitting there. And all of a sudden he says, who's here for Johnny Green? And I stood up, my mom stood up, and we walked up to the bench. He said, you're not Johnny Green. I said, no, I'm Linda Lewis. I'm Johnny Green's sister. He said, you just shut your mouth. And I'm like, and I looked, and then my mom started talking, and she said, well, we just want to know what can we do? Well, I can't say anything about his case, and I can't tell if his client and attorney privilege. You need to get in contact with his attorney. And then I'm like, and I turned around and walk away, and I said, oh my God. He said, arrest her. I'm like, for what? What did I do? And then my daughter came, and she grabbed my hand. She said, come on, Mama, let's go. The bailiff knocked her to the ground. She was on the ground. And then I turned around, and I said, please don't take her. She got to go back to school. He said, 180 days contempt. And so we went to jail. And while we were he called us up there. He called my daughter up there. She didn't want to look at him because she would start crying. So, she just did like that because she just didn't want to look at him. Then he called me up. I looked him dead in his eyes, and I didn't blink. And in my mind and my spirit, I was telling him, I'm going to get you for what you've done, and you have lied, and you have mistreated me and my daughter, and you will pay. And I'm saying this to myself, looking him in his eyes, because he lied. So then when we went and we were appointed, a court appointed, and that's Miss Summers, Billy Summers. And then, but my daughter, she was appointed a man by the name of Stevens. If I'm not, I might be incorrect on this, his name. But her attorney. But Miss Summers, she came and she was telling me, because we would talk and she would come and see us. She told me that that they don't have anything on us. So what they're gonna do is put it on the grand jury. So they was taking a misdemeanor. I had a misdemeanor that they charged me on with a misdemeanor to the grand jury. Now, in the state of Texas, the misdemeanor goes to the DA, and the DA makes the decision. But because they didn't have anything, and the district attorney, Joe Grubbs, was already involved in the conspiracy, they wanted to put an indictment and get an indictment on a misdemeanor for me and my daughter. So while I was in the grand jury, I told what happened. And while I was in there, they added another charge on me while I was in there. So I asked for a recess so I could speak to my attorney. She comes out, and because she can't be in the grand jury, so she comes out and she says, and I tell her what they did, because she's already told me what charges there was on me. And she said, well, y'all didn't tell me. So how could y'all just put another charge on her? Y'all didn't tell me that. And the district attorney that was in there saying they can do whatever they want to do. They're the grand jury. Not without telling me, so I could prepare my client for what's going on. So she was already afraid because she's been threatened. She's told me if anything happened to her that I needed to call the FBI because they was threatening her. Judge Calvert wrote her a letter and told her that she needs to act accordingly and don't worry about it. Don't let nobody know about what's going on with this case to her. So she told her. And so she had to back out of my case because she was in fear for her life because she's been threatened. It's just unreal that that these judges took an oath to uphold, but yet and still they totally ignore it.